ICP algebra. Make sure you, if you needed to, you watch the videos for this chapter. It should be in the folder for this week. So let's see. Problem number 1 on page 77, we have x minus 5 is greater than 10. All right, so what we're going to do is we want to go ahead and solve this. I'm going to add 5 to both sides. Treat the inequality just like it would be a graph. And so I have 0 here, I have 15 here. I have an open dot going this way. So my interval notation is going to go rounded bracket from 15 to infinity because this is pointing to infinity. Problem number 2, we're going to go ahead and go 7x is less than 14. Let's divide both sides by 7. X is less than 2. Okay, so that means we're going to the left. So if I had 0 here, or 0 here, I'm going to have 2 here. So I have an open dot going this way. So this is going to negative infinity. So from negative infinity to 2, soft bracket or rounded bracket or parenthesis. For the third problem, we have 2x plus 8 is less than or equal to 4. So let's go ahead and solve this. I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides of the inequality. So I get to negative 4, divide each side by 2. So I'm going to get x is less than or equal to negative 2. So on a number line, you have a negative 2 here, you have a 0 here. This is going to be a solid dot going this way. So that's pointing to negative infinity. Read it from left to right, negative infinity to negative 2. But the negative 2 is going to have a hard bracket or a square bracket because you have a solid dot. Problem number 4 on page 77. So we have this. Now the good thing to do, once you have the x on the wrong side, flip the whole thing over. So just change everything. Change the sign, direction, everything. Then go ahead and solve it. So I'm going to divide each side by 5. So x is greater than 6. So on a number line, if you had 0 here, you had 6 here. This would be an open dot because there's not an equal sign. Going to infinity, our interval notation would go from 6 because it's an open dot, positive 6 to infinity. Our next problem, if we have this as our problem that's given, let's just flip the whole thing over, including the sign. Okay, and then add 3 to both sides. So x is greater than or equal to 9. So on a number line, you have 0 here, you have 9 here. Solid dot here, going forever to infinity. So it's going to be a square bracket from 9 to infinity. That's supposed to be an infinity. Okay, problem number 6. They gave it to you like this. Go ahead and flip the whole thing over, including the inequality sign. So subtract 18 from both sides. Those cancel. You get negative 6. Divide each side by 2. Those cancel. X is less than negative 3. You get 0 here, you get negative 3 here. Open dot going forever to negative infinity. Okay, so our answer is going to be negative infinity. Dang it. Negative infinity to 3 soft bracket. Sorry, my computer got goofy on me. Let's go to the next page, which is page 78. Okay, we're on page 78 now. All right, so we have negative 9x is less than 18. All right, so we're going to divide each side by a negative 9. Being this is negative, that's going to flip that sign over. So x is going to be greater than, notice the sign flipped, and I get to negative 2. So if you look at here, you had negative 2 here, 0 here. This is an open dot going forever this way to infinity. So the interval notation would be from negative 2 to infinity. Okay. And I'm not quite sure what they're trying to go up there. So if you multiply or divide, so if you multiply or divide by a negative number To bring it over, the sign flips. The inequality flips. Okay? So on number 7 down below, I have negative 4y is greater than or equal to 12. Let's divide both sides by negative 4. So I divided by a negative, so this sign has to flip over, and I get to negative 3. So if you had 0 here, you had negative 3 here. This is a solid dot because you have the equal sign going forever to negative infinity. So read this from left to right, negative infinity to 3, hard bracket on the 3. Problem number 8, I get negative 2, x minus 3 plus 1 is greater than 11. So let's go ahead and start solving this. I'm going to distribute the negative over the parentheses. Combine these like terms. Subtract 7. Those cancel, so negative 2x is greater than 4. Divide each side by negative 2. Because I divided by that negative, the sign has to flip over. And so if you had 0 here, you had negative 2 here, open dot going this way. So our interval notation goes from negative infinity to negative 2, soft bracket or parenthesis because it's an open dot. Number 9, it's our favorite. We have some fractions in there. We're going to treat this the exact same way. My denominators are 7 and 3, so I'm going to multiply everything by 21 over 1. Okay, so 7 goes into 21 3 times. 3 times x is 3x. 7 goes into 21 3 times, so I get minus 3. 3 goes into 21 7 times, so I get to 14x. 7 goes into 21 3 times, multiply that, so I get 30. So let's start moving things back and forth. So maybe let's subtract 14x from both sides. So those cancel, so that gives me negative 11x. Perhaps we add 3 to both sides as well, so I get to 33. So now I'm going to divide each side by negative 11. If I divide each side by negative 11, the sign has to flip over. I get to negative 3. So negative 3 is here, 0 is here. It's a solid dot at 3, shading to the right. So it goes from hard bracket negative 3 to infinity. Okay, your assignment for Wednesday that we will go over will be page 79 and 80, and I think you can do all of them. Have a great day, everybody. Take care.